All right, let's get started. Hi, this is Bob Hawk at WiSys. This afternoon we'll be discussing the WiSys warehouse system designed for SAP Business One. It's a scalable and flexible solution for your warehouse. I have a few slides here to introduce our company and our panelist. So who is WiSys? WiSys started out a few years ago in 2004. We started out as wireless systems. That's where we get the wireless, WISYS from. Today we have more than 350 customers that use WiSys. Some customers have a couple of scanners, others have 102 scanners. So the applications that you're going to see today are tightly integrated with your ERP system. It's embedded right inside SAP. These applications are scalable and flexible. What does that mean? It means that the product is able to grow as you grow. There's only one WiSys application that works with Business One. So as you start out and grow, you'll have just what you need and you can add to it. And it's flexible that you can start with the out-of-the-box applications and they're easily changed. The application tool set is right on your system. Let's take a look. Here are a few customers that use the WiSys applications on a day-to-day basis. They use it for purchase order receiving and moving inventory around, collecting of lot batch numbers as they go, and using that in production, all the way through shipping and EDI, truckload shipping, and UPS and FedEx that are tightly integrated with your SAP. Here's a few names of the customers, as I mentioned, from receiving, manufacturing to shipping. Every day these customers count on WiSys to integrate with their business system. So I am your presenter right now. I'm the Director of Sales. I've been with WiSys a few years. My job is primarily to help develop new business and keep in contact with customers. I will be your primary contact, so if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'll be here. Also, Michael Hollinger is our Vice President. His primary application job is to develop the business systems. He is our lead developer for the SAP product for the Agility WMS. So Michael is going to do the heavy lifting today and show you how things work. So what's happening? What's happening in the warehouse? Most companies have started with SAP in the front office. They are doing transactions for order entry, inventory. They're transcribing things from paper down into the system, so that's how you keep the Business One system up to date. We felt there's a huge opportunity to get more people involved and actually begin recording data right at the first touch point. So when things are received, why not update SAP right then? When things are moved around, when things are going into WIP, when things are going out the door to customers, we can catch all those transactions down to the bins and even the lots or serial numbers involved. No need to record those after the fact. So what's happening here is we begin to move the shop transactions from the warehouse. We're moving those transactions from the desktop, actually, out to the warehouse. So rather than do them after the fact in a heads-down ERP system, we're doing it right when that production happens. And that's also true for shipping. When we do the shipping transactions, we can build shipments and do all the documentation necessary to connect those transactions back through. The receiving side, bringing material in, we're going to catch those details as they come in and even print labels. And the basic blocking and tackling of any WMS system is the cycle counting, the issues, the good receipts, and the transfers, being able to do that right on a handheld scanner. How we do that is we first are connected to your business system right here. This is the ERP system, Business One. So embedded right within that same database, not a separate database for warehouse management, but built right in, is the WiSys system. Just another set of tables added to your Business One system. We're using the DI API to update the system so you have confidence there that things are going to happen correctly. On top of that layer, we're going to use our framework. Michael's going to show you how the framework works, but primarily the applications that we've built are using this framework. The framework is just a tool set for linking and building applications. This is what the framework looks like. So today, when you see the handheld scanner right here doing a goods receipt, you can also see over here that this is how we built that screen. And there's a number of different things you can do with this to add more fields, move things around, put calculations in, and make other updates happen within the business system as needed, all within the framework of what SAP does. So that's the nuts and bolts of how WiSys is built and how it works and what it does. These applications that we call purpose-built help you meet the continuous challenge that you have for new solutions. There is no static ERP system. Your business system is always changing. Your requirements are changing. Some people need to work with 3PLs. Some people have challenges with customers and compliance. Maybe you need a special label for each shipment to a unique customer. Some customers have moved from shipping full pallets and cartons to just shipping eaches on the internet now. You need a flexible system that can be able to do that. And what happens if your system begins to really grow, where you're going to double your shipments? Can your solution keep up? So we really believe that every company that's using SAP, even though they're using the standard SAP product, you need your own capability to leverage that system to make it work just the way you want. And we do have people that make shoes, and those people that make shoes have totally different requirements for shipping than people that ship oatmeal. So when you're making something or shipping something, you're still using that same core solution, but your requirements are going to be different to get your workflow out just the way you want. Well, let's take a look at how this system works. So after this brief introduction, I'm going to hop over and pass the baton to Michael and let him talk about his presentation today. There you go, Michael. Please share your screen.
Great, thanks. I'm just gonna move this out of the way here. Okay, so I just have a quick little flow here to go over to show you kind of an overview of what I'm going to show today. So I'm going to start off with goods receipt, PO. So I'm going to show you how to receive instant purchase orders. So the idea is to get everything off the truck and into your warehouse, and then do a put away, which will be the next step. I'm going to show you how to do put aways. And then I'm just going to kind of step into showing you how to also do some inventory transactions. So once you have your inventory up to date, how can we do things like transfer your inventory, or maybe do some simple goods receipts, goods issue, things like that. But with the inventory that we bring in, we're going to do issue into production, show you how we might be able to return that from production if you don't need it, and how to then do a production goods receipt. And then out of production, we're going to build up some pallets and put those away using pallet transfer, show you how we can look at those pallets and license plate numbers throughout your inventory. And then I'm going to end off into some shipping. So I'll show you a couple of simple shipping techniques, and then we'll end up with some nice advanced shipping techniques showing how we can load up full pallets for a truckload and then packing some cartons in the aisle for UPS type shipping. So what I'm going to show you today is all out of the box product. And the idea is that with the out of the box product, I'll show you how you can also use the Form Studio and the Agility Adaptable Framework for configuring the product to do exactly what you want it to do. All right, so first things first, I'm going to start off with the handheld. So you'll see here, this is the simulation of what you would see on the handheld device. This is our product on the handheld device. So this is, you'll click around here, and when you come into a screen, just to give you a quick overview, any field that's blue, that's where the focus is. I can type, scan, and look up in those fields. All right, so let's start off with the goods receipt PO, and let's just go look at what we have in Business One first off. And I've got a couple of different purchase orders, so I'm going to show you a couple of different things we can do with it. But we have $12.95 here. We've got a motherboard and some printer label that we're going to receive in. And so what I'm going to do is, with my scanner, I would scan my purchase order, scan the item I want to receive, and you'll see here this bin 05-stock. So this is a binned item, and it's defaulting to 05-stock, and I'll show you here in a minute where we default that, because the idea is we want to get everything off the truck and into a warehouse into some kind of centralized bin. All right, so I'm going to receive half of those first. Okay, so now that I've received that, it's already into Business One as we speak. It's real time, and I'm just printing some labels to the screen. And so this is just a label I made up. These are actually out of the box labels that you can use, but I'll show you how you can design your own labels here. All right, so if I would scan the item again, it says remaining 50, and go ahead and bring another 50. Okay, and there's our label again. So if we go into Business One right now and look at that order, we'll see the line is already closed. Okay, and we've got the relationship map. We can see here we've got 2 goods receipt POs already entered into Business One. Those are all done through the DI API. Now another way to look at this here is we've got some nice grid views that we've added to the menu, and every grid that I'm going to show you, these are things built on the framework that you can either customize or create your own grids and views and put them on the menu as well. So the nice thing about these grids is we can go into these grid filters, column filters, and just start typing. So $12.95, here's the line that I just received, and we can look at the receipts in grid fashion as well. So there's our 50 and 50. So it allows for nice drill downs. All right, so let me go back and take it a little bit further. So I'm still on $12.95, and we have another item here to receive, and I'm going to receive the printer label. Now this one is a batch lotted item. Okay, so a couple ways to handle batches. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on batches today. What I'm showing here, batches work the same way throughout the whole system, and so we can build the lot numbers, the batch numbers using our lot builder. So you can define table lookups if you want to bring in data from the purchase order and put that into the lot number, create sequential numbers. You can define that however you want, and it'll automatically build the lot number for you internally. Or if you want to just scan it, sometimes the vendors send you those batch lot numbers. So I'm going to scan one here. Okay, so I'm just going to scan a lot number, and we're going to receive half of those. And again, there's my label. Okay, I'm going to scan the item again and do another lot number. Okay, now I'm going to take a step back for a minute. So the way that operated was I scan the item, I scan the batch, I type in the quantity, and then ask me for the item again. Okay, but I want to change this flow for a minute. I'm going to go now into Visual Form Studio. And if you look at Visual Form Studio, here's that goods receipt PO screen on the handheld, and here is it in Visual Form Studio. Okay, so I can click around, I can move things around, I can move the fields around, I can add new fields, I can add new buttons, but I'm going to add, let's say I wanted to add a new field here, and let me just go to webinar out of the way here, and I'm going to just call this, maybe I want to call this container. Maybe I want to somehow collect some container information. Maybe I got something coming in from China or something. And then on the Save button, there's a couple things happening on the Save button. So I've got a formula to check to make sure I'm not going to over-receive something. I got the peer receipt post that's going to call the DI API, and I'm going to print a document and then clear my form. All right. So this clear form now. Actually, before the clear form, let me go in the peer receipt post here. So the peer receipt post, there's certain parameters it needs. That needs a vendor number, order, line item, warehouse, quantity. You see, it's very simple for just to map fields from the form to these basic parameters to do a peer receiving transaction. If I go over to some extra properties here, I could go into the user field value 1, and maybe I've got some user-defined field called container on my PO table. And I might want to map this new container field to that value. oops, I did that backwards, sorry. Go to U. There we go. So if I wanted to map the value of container to that field name, U_container on the table, when I do that PO receipt, it'll assign it to that field, and now we'll have linked this container to the PO receipt. Okay. The other thing is, once it does that PO receipt, it's going to clear the form, and when it clears the form, and I'm going to take the container off, it's not something I really want to show right now, but when it clears the form, it's going to start from the bottom and start going all up to the top and clear field by field until it comes to a field that might have something called a clear stop. So this one has a clear stop equal to true. Okay, so that's why it goes back up to item. So if I take batch and I make its clear stop true, okay, and save the form, first thing I could do is simulate it right inside of here. Okay, so I can run through the same process by scanning my PO number, scanning item, and so forth. Okay, and as I do that, I can see any variables I've created. I can start going through and tracking everything I need to debug and make sure the form works appropriately. But the other thing is, once I save the form, it's already out there in the database, in the repository. So if I just close this form and open it right back up, I'm going to get the new instructions for the form. Okay, so I'm going to scan PO, scan the item, and I'm going to scan my batch, and we'll do 50 of these. Okay, so there it goes. It stopped right there at batch. So what's the next batch? Okay, so I can just quickly change the form, the flow of the form, and how it operates. Okay, but let's change it again. So now let's take batch, and let's take the clear stop off, and let's take it off of item. Okay, and we'll save this form and go back to the handheld. Now we're going to assume that we've got a vendor that's sending us a concatenated barcode. So it has order number, item number, and batch number all on the boxes as they come in. So I might just scan it like this when it comes in. Okay, and there's my label. And then I might scan the next batch number coming in that's on that, coming off the truck. Okay, so it's very flexible, very easy to change things on the handheld. Now this bin 05-doc, I told you I want to show you where that came from. There's some options on the handheld. So here the receiving bin I defined as 05-doc, and when we get into production, I've also defined 05-prod as the production bin. Okay, so that 05-doc bin is going to come in handy when we get into put away. But before we get into put away, I just want to show you some other ways of looking at data here. So one thing is, let me go into the data and look at this item and look at the inventory data, and we'll look at the bins here. So you can see we've got 100 sitting in 05-doc. Okay, and I'm going to move this into this 05142 bin here in a minute. But I also want to show you that there's other ways to look at the data that we deploy here with these other grids for looking at data. We've got this item location bin view. And with the item location bin view, I can start with an item, warehouse range, or I can just look at everything and then filter on the data coming in. So I might want to look at my item this way and sort by bin, and you can see there's the 05-doc bin, there's that 100, and there's the 05142 bin, that's 10. All right, so we're just pulling in the SAP data right from the database, real time. Okay, so let's go back to the handheld now, and I'm gonna go and do put away. So you notice that the bin is defaulting to 05-doc because I'm going to put away from the same bin that I just received into. And so I want to scan my motherboard item, and I'm going to scan the bin into which I want to transfer, and we'll just go ahead and move the 100. Okay? So as soon as I do that, and I refresh my grid, you can see it went from 0 up to the 142 bin. There's 110 in that bin now. Okay? Just as if I were to go back into here and look at the inventory data in Business One, we now have 110 in the 142 bin. Just another way to look at it. Okay, the other thing is we can look at it from the handheld standpoint. So if I'm going to go down on the handheld and look at the item view here on the handheld, and I can scan the item right on the handheld, and you can see I've got in warehouse 01 tells me what I have in stock, committed, ordered, available, and this is a multi-record form, which means if I hit the down arrow, you'll see it refreshes now to 02. I can just start flipping down through all the warehouses. And when I get to warehouse 05, I now have a bin button that is available. And if I click that, I can see all my bins and what's in all my bins. Okay, and if it was a batched item, we could highlight the batch field here, and we see all the batches or serial numbers that are in Business One as well. Okay. So now I just also wanted to go through and show you how to do, we did a put away. Put away essentially just doing an inventory transfer, but it's built as a specific process. But if you wanted to do just a simple inventory transfer, we could do that here as well. So if I wanted to scan that item and just do it from 05, keep it in the same warehouse, and I'll scan the bin I brought it in on, but that I put away into, and I might put that into A152, and I might want to just move 10 over there. Okay. So that's just a quick little inventory transfer. And of course, goods issues, goods receipts, same kind of transactions you have in Business One, they're very easily accessible here, and they're all customizable through Form Studio. Every one of the forms is customizable through Form Studio here. Okay. So now we've received our inventory in, we've done a put away, we've got our inventory sitting in our warehouse. So now we want to move over to production. All right, so I'm going to go over to production orders. And I've got an order in here, order 175. And so this is for a PC. We're going to make a PC. We're making 100 of them. And somebody's making some noise out there. Is that you, Kathy? Thank you. So I have a planned quantity 100. We're going to bring that into warehouse 05. And this first item here is going to be a manual issue. And it's going to be issued out of 05. So I'm going to leave this up for a second, and I'm going to go back over to the handheld, and let's go do a production issue. All right, so I'm going to scan my production order, and the item is the motherboard that I've already received in. I need 100 of those, so remaining is 100, and I'm going to scan the bin. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and issue 100 of those right to the production order, and there's a label here. All right. And if I refresh this, you'll see here that we've got issued 100. Now, from here, I'm going to go ahead and just assume that I'm going to report production of what has all been created. So I put in 100. I'm going to go ahead and, not production return, I'm going to do production receipt. And I'm going to scan that order, 175. Okay, and so there's that 05-prod bin that I showed you in the options that we're defaulting to, and remaining is 100. Now I'm gonna just assume that I'm gonna do a 95 instead of 100. For whatever reason, I'm only making 95 instead of 100. Okay, and so here is our label again. Now if I refresh this, you're gonna see that all the backflushed items have been backflushed at 95 for what we reported production on. Okay. So to reconcile this, we want to return that motherboard back to where we got it because okay, so we're going to scan that production order 175, and we're going to scan our item and the bin to which we want to put away, and let's just put, and it shows you here we've issued 100. Now you want to return 5 of them. Okay, and there's our label again. So now when we refresh this, now we're all reconciled. We issued 95, we backflushed the other 95, and we've reported production of 95 on this production order. Okay, so all through our transactions here, you notice that a label has been coming to the screen. Now, we're doing that for the demonstration because that way you can see, first off, how fast the labels can print, and second, just so you can see what the labels would look like. But I'm gonna take a step back real quick and show you how our document management works. So if you go into document management here, And let's just go to peer receiving where we had that label. So this is a peer receiving label. So we have all these different categories. You can do a new label and upload either Crystal reports if you want to create a Crystal report label, or we have our own label designer in here as well. We deploy as part of our product. So you can open it right inside of here. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So this is that peer receiving label you saw that popped up. And so I might want to come in here and just add another barcode. Okay, and then if I scroll down here on the barcode, this is all going to be ZPL language. So if I go to symbology on that barcode, any ZPL, any barcode symbology that ZPL can handle will be in here, which is pretty much everything. Now if I go to data field, I've got a data query in here, so I could assign this to a data field from my data query that I brought in. So if I want to add more fields to a data query and assign that to the barcode, I could do that as well. All right. So if I save that, I would save it right back into the data repository, but I'm not doing that here in this scenario for the demonstration. All right, so we've done our production. So now I want to go over pallets, and I want to build up some pallets. I got our inventory's been received. We've got some PCs, and we're going to bring those, put them onto pallets and put those pallets away. All right. So I want to go to Pallet Builder. All right, and with Pallet Builder, I'm just going to hit Enter to get a new pallet. All right, and I'm going to scan my PC. And and now here I'm going to put, it's going to be 05-prod because we received everything into 05-prod. So I could type that in here and make 20 of those, put 20 of those onto a pallet. So we have pallet 109. Okay, so this is the first pallet we just created. This is a license plate number, pallet 109. It's got the barcode for the pallet number that we can scan to look at that pallet and do transfers and letdowns and load them onto shipments and things like that. But let's take a step back. So maybe in my case, because I'm using 05 prod bin, which is kind of a virtual bin. It's kind of more just like an idea of an area that is in my production area, not necessarily something I can scan and make that an efficient process. So what I might want to do is, let's go back over here to Form Studio. And I'm going to open up a different project. So all of the forms are held within projects. All right, so we have this project called Pallet Management, and you'll see distribution, pallets, and production down here. And that coincides with these here, distribution, pallets, and production. So you can build new processes and put them in different tabs on the handheld. So we're going to take Pallet Builder. We just used Pallet Builder, and I'm going to copy this form, and we'll call this Production Pallet Builder, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and yes, I do want to open it up, but I also want to I want to change where this thing lives. I want to put it over in the Production tab. Okay, so now it's over here in the Production tab when I pull up on the handheld. What I want to do is take this bin, and I'm going to move it up to the top. And I'm going to take the bin, and I'm going to, on that bin, when this form starts up, I've got a startup formula. There's a formula I want to run when the form initially starts up. Okay, and I'm just going to just give this a name. And I could define some criteria, so I could compare some different parameters and information to decide whether or not I want to run this formula. If it's true, then I would do some different things down in this true area. But I want to do this every time, so I'm just going to, it's always true. So therefore, down in here, I'm going to set the bin equal to, and then we'll go find our prod bin. Okay, so the @ats are our option defaults. This @ is our items on the form, and you have things like $signs, which are variables, and then other ways of looking at parameters and things like that. So bin is going to equal to prod bin, so we'll add that. Okay, and we'll save it. All right. Now, in order for the user to have access to that, we need to go over to Security and go to Roles. And we're going to go to this role that we're looking at right now. And Alex is our user. He's currently in this role. And these are the components for the role. And I'm going to remove Pallet Builder and add this Production Pallet Builder to this user. All right. So now when I go back on the handheld, I'll just log out, come back in here again as Alex. All right, now we go to production. Now we have this production pallet builder. And so now we got our bin defaulting to 05 prod bin. So now all we got to do is hit enter for a new pallet, scan our item, and do 20. Okay, now I didn't set the printer for my label yet. So if that happens, you could choose a printer on the fly. This is what happens. You don't preset a printer, but I'll just cancel that for now. And to set a printer, you would just come in here into the printer option. This is the name of this label is called pallet. And I would just choose, in this case, I'm going to print a screen, or I could print to any other. If I had a label printer like a zebra label printer, I could set to the zebra label printer, but I'll just print a screen for this scenario. So again, we'll do another pallet, and we want to scan our item and do another 20. Okay, so there's pallet 111. So we got 109, 110, and 111, and I'm going to do just one more here, and another 20. Okay, and there's 112. All right. So I just want to show you briefly how that works. So you can use Form Studio. You see how quickly, again, it is to change forms and move them around. I'm going to go back into Business One, and under Inventory and WiSys, we've got an item palette view. All right. So if you want to look at our item, our PC item here, you see we've got pallets 109, 110, 111, and 112, and they're all sitting on 05-prod. Okay, so what we've done is we've created a whole pallet layer or package layer that sits on top of the item and the bin layer. So we're keeping them in sync. When we call a DA API and do transfers and move them around, we're keeping our pallets and license plate numbers in sync with that. So it's another unique number to keep track of your inventory and move them around. So oftentimes people would transfer those and move around, put them into like an overstock bin, into like a pallet letdown, and then from there you kind of destroy that pallet, then do kind of picking from that picking bin on the ground. But if I go back to the handheld, and let's go over to the pallets tab here, let's do a pallet view. We can scan a pallet like 109, right? And we can see it's in 05-prod in the item, and really this is all designed for one item per pallet, but our packages are recursive, so you could have cartons on pallets, you could have bags in cartons and pallets, and each layer could have different mixed kind of items in every one of those. This is just kind of a very simplistic way of looking at it right now. But let's take our pallet and let's transfer that pallet. So let's scan that 109, and let's move it to a bin here. So as soon as I scan that bin, it just did a transfer. And if I go back over to my view and do a refresh on it, you see 109 has now been moved. Okay, it's also been moved inside of Business One. So that if you were to go to look at Business One, we would see that 20 has moved from 05-prod to the 03S11L1 bin. All right, so if I now go into a pallet view here as well and scan my pallet, I can see now it's sitting in 311. All right, so let's go ahead and move the rest of these. So we're going to just scan pallet 110, move that, scan 111, move that, and 112, and move pallet 112. Okay? So now if we just refresh it, you see how quickly we were able to take a bunch of inventory and move it around our warehouse through pallets. All right, so if we pretended that we just took those pallets and put them into, say, like an overstock bin, maybe up above, like I was saying, sometimes people want to just do a pallet let down. So you might want to let that pallet down, okay? And by doing that, you would scan the pallet, tells you where it is. It looks like a transfer, it operates like a transfer, and then it's going to transfer the inventory in Business One from the from bin to the to bin that I would scan, and then it's going to delete that pallet. So the pallet no longer exists, and now you've got onesies and twosies sitting on the floor in your picking bin that you can now pick from and maybe pack those into cartons, or maybe you need to create new mixed pallets for a shipment. Okay, so now we've gone through all the pallets, license plating. I wanted to switch gears now and go over into shipping. So there's many ways actually we can do shipping in our system. I'm going to start off with some simple ways and then show you some more advanced techniques. So first off, let's go into actually stay here on the handheld. If we go over here to the distribution tab, there's a couple things here to look at. So we've got a sales order delivery process, and this is kind of the simplest way. So with this process, you would just scan your order, scan your item, scan your bin, and remaining two, put your quantity in, and as you go through this process, you're just creating delivery notes. All right, so this is a very simple, just sales order delivery note. You know, if you have a very simple process, this works just fine. Then we have also sales order picking. So if you want to create a pick ticket or a pick list, like I've got one here called number 5, and this order is on that pick list. Again, scan the item, scan a bin, did wrong bin there. That's a good example of validation. So when you go through this process, you're building up and picking everything on that pick list. And then when you're done, you click the delivery note, and it'll take everything you picked on that pick list and create the delivery note back into Business One. Okay, and then another way, if you go a step up from there, is this directed sales order picking. So again, I put my pick number in, but here what it's going to do, it's going to bring everything in from that pick list, okay, and it's going to take me around the warehouse in bin sequence fashion. Okay, so this is the smallest bin here, so this is 111, and if you imagine you had 10 orders on this pick list, it's very possible that maybe on 3 of those orders I'm supposed to go get item A00001, and so for each one of those orders, it may tell me to keep staying and getting and collecting the inventory and picking them from this bin for each one of those orders, kind of like a zone or like a wave picking. All right, so if I would put 3 in here, I'll just and enter, it picked it. So that pick list has now been updated, and now it's telling me to go get this item. This item also happens to be in this bin, so I get 2 of those. Okay, and now it's telling me to get this office printer at 311, so I'll put 5. Okay, and so I'm going to go through and just pick everything on that pick list, and when I'm done, this screen will clear, tell me I've picked everything, and I would just click delivery to create the delivery note based on everything that I picked in that pick list. All right. So those are some simple ways of just doing some of our, what I guess I call simple shipping. And I'm going to get a little bit more advanced techniques here. And what I'm going to do is get into more like pallet packing. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do pallets. You can do pack pallets. Pack pallets is where I would actually create a new shipment, create a new pallet, and I would start picking items and putting them onto the pallet as I go, kind of creating mixed pallets as I'm building up for my shipment. You can do this for pallets and for cartons. And I'm not going to do this one right now because I'm going to show you how to load full pallets, but I'm going to go do pack cartons here in a bit, which acts just like the pack pallets. So it's just it's same concept, just a different package type. So I'm going to go to load pallets here, and we've got a sales order here. I'm going to go look at the sales order. All right, so this sales order 1239, I've got 80 PCs to put out the door, okay? And we got 4 pallets with 20 each on it. So I'm gonna load these 4 pallets up onto a shipment and then take them out the door and print a packing or a bill of lading for it, okay? So back to the handheld here. I'm gonna hit enter for a new shipment, okay? And I'm gonna scan my order and scan my item, and I'm gonna just scan pallet 109, okay? And I'm gonna scan my order again. As I'm going around, I'm grabbing these pallets, and I might have brought them all over to the staging area initially, and I'm just scanning them as I put them onto the truck, or I might be, as I'm grabbing them off the bin and bringing them over to the staging area, I might be scanning those pallets as I go get them off using a forklift. So here we go, scan my item again, and scan pallet 110, same order, item, and pallet 111, okay? And I'm just stop for a second and show you, so on the handheld, we started creating shipment 10114, okay? So 10114, if we look at what we're building here, so some kind of shipping manager, somebody could be looking at this and saying, okay, pallet 109, 110, 111, 20, 20, 20. So you can see that we've packed 3 pallets of 20 so far onto this shipment. So we'll come back here and I'll do our last pallet. and pallet 112. Okay, so you could really see what people are packing out here. I'll refresh this. As they're packing, you could refresh this tree view and see what all is being packed so far on this shipment. Once it's all packed up, you can just click over here and click the LTL button. Okay, this is going to go and roll everything up and create a delivery note. Okay, so the delivery note's been created in Business One, and so now I might want to put in a total weight and click print. So this is going to print a bill of lading now, or any other document you want to print. So using the document manager, and there's our 80 pieces, using our document manager, you could create all kinds of crystal reports, packing lists, whatever needs to go out, okay? And I'll just wanted to mention one more thing about printing along those lines. If we go back over here to our documents, what I just printed there was this bill of lading, okay? So this is a this is a crystal bill of lading. It's labeled as public. That means everybody's going to get it. When it's public, I can also exclude it from items or product categories or customers or customer types, or I can make it private, and I might want to assign that to a specific customer. All right, so I'll just do a lookup on a customer, and maybe Walmart gets this one bill of lading because they've got like some master bill of ladings and some other things they really require. Maybe a JCPenney's or a Sears gets something else, and so forth. So you can assign it, and then the people in the warehouse, the operators have no idea what's going to print. They typically do, but they don't have to make a mistake by selecting which one they want to print at a given time. It just whatever comes out is what's supposed to go for that customer. All right, so last thing we want to do is I want to show you how we can pack cartons in the aisle. And I mentioned that packed pallets and packed cartons, they really do operate the same way because in the end it's just a package type. Okay, and we define those over here. If I go to packing and shipping and look at our package types, so I've got cartons and we got pallets. Okay, so these match up. We match these up with the packages in Business One, so that when we do our shipping and we write to the delivery note packages, they match up with Business One. You can pull those up inside of the delivery note, so they match up one for one. All right, so pack cartons, and I'm going to start a new shipment, and I have a different order here for that one. So 1238, and I'm going to scan the item for that in the bin, and I have remaining 2. So I'm going to put 1 in this carton, okay, and there's my carton label. And you'll see here we've got a new shipment 10115, and this carton is 113. You just saw that the label printed out for 113. And I'm going to do a new carton for this one. So I put 1 in the first carton. Now I'm going to click new carton. And I'm going to put that same item in a second carton. Okay, and there's our 114. Okay, carton 113 and 114. And again, we'll go back to our shipping tree and look at 10115. And there's that order 1238 for 1 and 1, and there's carton 113 and carton 114. Now this time UPS is lit up. Okay, the reason UPS is lit up on this one is because if I go back over here to our shipping type mapping, if we look at our shipping type of UPS ground in Business One, so these are shipping types in Business One, I map that to a service type for UPS called ground, and it's going to be prepaid. Okay, prepaid means that it's going to charge our UPS account, and then we can charge the customer as part. So however you want to charge the end customer would be up to how you want to handle that. Let me just show one more thing on that. So that's prepaid. You can also do freight collect, consignee, third party, all the ways that you can bill with UPS, and the same thing with FedEx and USPS. Those are all available. All right, so I'm going to go over here and click UPS on this one. Again, it's going to roll up and do the delivery note. So delivery note's now already done in Business One, and I'm going to do maybe say 3 pounds and 3 pounds, and go ahead and ship it within UPS. So here I'm just printing it to snag it. This is just a way to print a screen because I don't have a label printer to show you. But here's 1 of 2, and here's 2 of 2. So I'm running UPS in test mode. That's why you see test label here. But in real life, obviously, it would go right to the printer. So if you got a zebra printer right there, and then again, any other documents that you want to print. So we got a packing list we want to print. So there's quantity ordered, quantity shipped is 2. So we can take that packing list and throw it in the box. Okay. All right, so that's all I wanted to show. Just kind of want to take you end to end from, buy it, make it, and ship it, and kind of give you an idea of how we can make your processes more efficient and accurate using our warehouse management system.